do it. And I'll tell you now. No, you're supposed to be here to protect us. Protect us. You're here to protect us. You are here to protect us. Are you standing under your oath? Are you standing under your oath? His name's not Martin. Where's Martin? He's isolated.
Step out my way.
No.
Step out
I
my
want
way.
your badge now. I want your badge. Are you? Where's your warrant? Where's your warrant? Hold on.
Martin, you're under arrest for a breach of COVID regulations. You failed to quarantine in a designated hotel when instructed to do so. You do not have to say anything that may harm your defence if you do not mention something which you later rely on court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence. Do you understand?
Are you standing under?
Absolutely insane and criminal behavior by the British authorities in the United Kingdom that, of course, are following orders, breaking down the door and kidnapping a man from his family, all because he decided to quarantine in his house and not a, quote, designated government-approved hotel. The man now faces 10 years in jail. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Okadowski of WeAreChange.org. Lots of utter insanity happening in the world right now, and that's why we're going to be talking about the latest shocking developments from Project Veritas, the shocking statements from Dr. Fauci that contradict the official story of what's going on here. But predominantly, we are going to be focusing on the larger conflict between Oceania, Eurasia, and of course, East Asia. Oh wait, that was the conflict that was happening in 1984, which I think is a perfect representation of what the hell's going on in our world right now. Especially with scenes like this that, in my opinion, are beyond Orwellian, way overboard, way out of control, and deserved to be called out. But in this video specifically, we're going to be doing a geopolitical deep dive into the relations between Russia and the United States, which even The Guardian is classifying as current relations, making Orwell's 1984 come true. And just to remind you, in 1984, there was endless war that enabled the ruling class to remain in power, while the lower class remained powerless. This is specifically a summary someone made on SparkNotes about the endless war in 1984, specifically saying, quote, in Goldstein's manifesto, he observed that a country that is productive will eventually become prosperous, unless something is done to destroy the fruits of that productivity. War is the ultimate solution to this problem. War forces the population to be more and more productive, but all those products are destroyed by the war. So the people never benefit from their work. The ruling class gains power, while the lower class never benefits from their labor and can be branded as unpatriotic if they try to resist exploitation. Further, a state of constant war keeps the population fearful and eager to give up their freedoms for security. Meaningless victories can be claimed by the party from time to time in order to stir up patriotism and encourage citizens that their hard lives are having a positive effect on the war effort. Now, gee, what does that sound like? Why does that ring so many bells? Huh? I can't put my finger on it. Now, in related news, in keeping the local population in a current state of constant fear and hate, we of course have CNN, the quote most trusted name in news that is a verified partner with YouTube, that gets free promotion by YouTube, that gets YouTube ad partner money, that gets selective preferential treatment whenever you look up any kind of news story. CNN is always there on this particular platform, and today, Project Veritas released a video highlighting how their technical director literally was bragging about hyping the fear of last year's sickness in order to drive more ratings, personally saying that he hoped more people died so he could scare them so they stayed tuned and helped CNN's ratings. Absolutely sickening and disturbing behavior. YouTube, if you're watching, if you're a YouTube moderator, automatically you should delete their channel for this gross, disgusting behavior. Minimally, they should be fully demonetized and kicked out of their partner program for such outrageous behavior. Don't you agree? But, of course, that's not going to happen since, of course, CNN plays by a different set of rules. They're pushing a further agenda that benefits the ruling class and the elites. And in related news of pushing an agenda and not caring about the truth at all, we have the latest news from Dr. Fauci that is still telling people that if they've gotten the shot, all of them, all of the doses that they were supposed to, it's still not okay to, quote, go outside and to eat and drink indoors. As of course, this is also the same man, a part of the same institutions, that was telling you, if you just get this shot, everything's going to go back to normal, everything's going to be fine, that it's definitely very safe, it's very effective. And now, I talked about this on LukeUncensored.com, by the way, in yesterday's video. There's a lot of things I want to say here, but I can't. I'm going to add a little bit of commentary to that. But something absolutely weird and strange is happening right now that absolutely destroys the government's official story, and what they're advocating for you to do might be pointless. Again, we're going to be talking about that all on LukeUncensored.com. If you're not signed up on it, I would definitely recommend you do. Yesterday, I told everyone to sign up on our email list, which is free. And if you did, you got an email yesterday specifically with yesterday's Luke Uncensored video for free. So definitely it's worthwhile to sign up on the email list, because sporadically, just like yesterday, we send out free videos that usually you have to have a paid membership to watch. 50 cents a day, costs you nothing, supports independent media, allows us to grow. If you sign up on our email list today, you won't be getting yesterday's videos for free, but you will in the future. There's also a lot of different things that I really want to talk about the current situation that's unfolding right now in Minnesota. The situation's insane. A lot of things driving it. Again, we can't really even talk about any of this stuff. We will on LukeUncensored.com. Very easy to sign up. Click the link down in the description below to find out more right now. Now, I know things are pretty intense right now, but as I've been warning you, it's going to get more intense from here. It only makes perfect logical sense. I've been warning people about this for a number of months now. I've been also telling people to pay attention to the Ukraine situation, especially with the new Biden administration. And here we are, where literally representatives of the Russian government are talking about how war is inevitable. As of course, tensions between Russia and the United States have been escalating at a very dangerous proportion. And after very dangerous tit-for-tat escalations and the breakdown of diplomacy between Biden and Putin, after, of course, Biden decided to call Putin a killer and then blamed him on some hacks that even the U.S. intelligence agencies say didn't happen. This, along with the United States' efforts to try to be more influential in Ukraine, while at the same time sending military hardware to Ukraine and their forces to be alongside Russian borders, has led us to this situation, which is absolutely a powder keg. Russia has recently responded to the United States sending some of its hardware and battleships into the region, saying that they better not do this because it will be a grave escalation. The United States is continuing with sending in their battleships into that region, specifically into the Black Sea, where Crimea is located. Ukraine, which this proxy conflict most likely will escalate, and the reason I say escalate is because currently there's still ongoing fighting in the east of Ukraine, with many separatist groups still raging a battle against some Ukrainian forces that are being ever more supported and supplied by the U.S. military-industrial complex. It's also important to note here that our previous president didn't help the situation by being the first president daring to send lethal aid to Ukraine, aka other military hardware, when Barack Obama previously didn't even cross that line. Donald Trump did. Biden is continuing Trump's policy in this larger escalation, and Ukraine wants more weapons, more money, and more support from NATO and Joe Biden during this very tense time. Russia, of course, sees the United States sending in more weapons, more money, and more support to Ukraine as an obvious threat, and they, of course, are on the side of the separatists that are fighting the U.S.-backed Ukrainian forces that are facing off against the Russian-backed forces in this region, as, of course, the conflict has never ended. It might have subsided, but there still is ongoing fire and shelling going on in Ukraine, most likely that situation will continue to escalate and will be one of the places to keep a very close eye on. Turkey, a NATO member ally state, also decided to get involved recently as they, quote, demanded the return of Crimea to Ukraine, along with the 20-point statement that Turkey decided to fully back with its position on Ukraine. As with this specific issue, they are standing with the United States, NATO, and the European Union. One of the points that Turkey signed onto was to make Ukraine a NATO member state and forcing even some of the states that are fighting right now in the Russian-backed territory to be given back to Ukraine. Now, the involvement of Turkey here has made Russia restrict flights to that particular country, which they officially said was because of health restrictions, but many people, of course, point to political tensions also rising between the two countries. As, of course, it's also important to point out that it's not so long ago since, of course, Turkey shut down Russian fighter pilots over, of course, the previous proxy war that happened between the West and the East in Syria. Turkey is also strategically located, of course, also near the Black Sea, near Ukraine, near Crimea, and if a conflict would break out, their involvement would be crucial in this region, since of course Russia does not have as much land mass in the Black Sea as Turkey does. This, of course, is one of the reasons why the Ukrainian president recently flew to Turkey in order to establish this larger alliance, this, quote, strategic partnership between these two countries, which obviously NATO is very pleased about. Ukraine and Turkey also talked about a defense cooperation pact, which, of course, would protect each other in case one of the countries was attacked. Turkey is, of course, a NATO member, and, of course, this move largely puts Russia on edge, as even Russian state media is talking about being one step away from war. Other government representatives of Russia are saying it's inevitable, and Russia, of course, is deciding to saber rattle back against the West and their military movements with their own military movements and even live fire drills, which they will be conducting soon in the Black Sea, as of course the United States is sending in their warships in the region when this is going to be happening. Now, currently there's an estimated 83,000 Russian troops stationed along Ukraine's border, according to some estimates. Russia, of course, is sending in more military hardware along the border and also in the Black Sea. And of course, as this unfolds, we can't underestimate the seriousness of this entire situation, which of course is utterly and absolutely intense. Ukraine is also accusing Russia right now of, quote, storing nuclear weapons in Crimea. It's still not known if this is true at all. Obviously, Ukraine has an invested interest in trying to make this as worrisome as a situation as they can, since of course they willingly want U.S. support, as their president has stated. And again, this is a dangerous situation that's escalating, that has been building and fomenting for a number of years now, ever since, of course, the larger U.S. effort in order to try to decouple Ukraine from Russia and to make them EU NATO members. Russia, of course, does not want that to happen. The Biden administration has been setting an agenda to make it happen, and also previously turned down an invitation from the Russian president to have a live, on-air, unscripted conversation between the Russian and U.S. leader. Biden now, after refusing that first initial live stream meeting between the two, is asking the Russian president to de-escalate tensions, announced that the United States will be keeping warships in the region for, quote, their own good, and even proposed a meeting in a third country between Russia and the United States where Vladimir Putin and Joe Biden would sit down and actually have a conversation. Russia is still examining the terms of that meeting and what country it will take place in. And we have to point out the larger factor that we're at a situation where world leaders are refusing to visit each other because of the tensions that are happening between them. Now, again, this is a very convoluted, complex situation with a lot of history. Obviously, on the U.S. Western mainstream media, you are going to be hearing only facts that make Russia look bad. On the Russian media, of course, you're going to be predominantly hearing facts that make the U.S. military-industrial complex look bad. Either way, wherever you stand, I think it's pretty simple to just call for diplomacy rather than, of course, this ridiculous saber rattling that has the world on edge. There should be a larger conversation. There should be a lot more diplomacy. There should be a sit down that should take place for the tensions to ease here with, of course, proper communication. The Ukrainian conflict is already happening, and it's set to be yet another proxy war between the West and the East, which is going to create more human suffering and is absolutely pointless, and brings me to the original thought of this video about the true purpose of endless war. That's my opinion. That's my take here. If you thought I did somewhat of an okay job, share this video with your friends, family members, random strangers. Someone spams you, you spam them back with this video. Let me know what they say down in the comment section below. I have a lot to say on Luke Uncensored. A lot of people are being censored left and right. A lot of YouTube channels are being deleted. And if this channel's gone, I think I thought about this just a few days ago. If they do, take us off, which they shouldn't, they have no reason to. But if they do, I think I'm only going to be exclusively doing videos on Luke Uncensored from then on. So if I'm not here anymore, if you go to youtube.com/WeAreChange, we're not here. Go to LukeUncensored.com. That's where you will be able to find me. There's a great community of people that I love talking to on there. And I appreciate you guys. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here. This is why. I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on WeAreChange.org.